Nope, 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 nope. This is not worth it. This is not worth an editing. I mean, this take is so freaking bad that I'm just gonna decide to do it live. Because wow, it's bad.
There you are, playing the PvP in your World War II shooter, and all of a sudden, you're a Nazi.
Oh no, you play, actually, what was the last game that lets you play as a Nazi? I can recall a game that lets you play as the Axis power, like, say, Battlefield 1942. But, I don't remember playing Battlefield 1942 and immediately think, yes! We should finally exterminate all the Jews!
You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose this.
I never chose to be a Nazi. It was Battlefield 1942 that forced me because freaking balancing teams.
Yet there it is. And it's treated no differently than playing a British soldier.
Also, Daniel, where are you? I kind of miss your squeaky little chipmunk voice. Who is this? I haven't been watching extra credits for a while now, so
This is bad on so many levels.
Of course it is. Also, I want to check out the ratio for this video. That is an oof for me, fam. That is a big oof for me.
We should never express that there's no meaningful difference between Nazis and Allied soldiers, or that they're functionally interchangeable.
Except when it's a video game. And you're not supposed to put any sorts of historical context within it, and you're supposed to just shoot the other side. Like, what?
And before anyone equivocates and says not all German soldiers in World War II were Nazis,
I'm pretty sure no one says that as a rebuttal. I'm pretty sure most people say, it's fiction! It's video game! Just freaking play it!
if they were wearing the swastika and are functioning as an arm of the Nazi government, then unless the game goes out of its way to tell you specifically that your particular character is not a Nazi, then they're a Nazi.
I don't understand how these freaking extra credits is very progressive. And it's so freaking mind-boggling that their mind operates in this sort of one freaking note. And that if you just instantly see the word Nazi, that automatically means bad. It means bad. It means very bad. Even though we're playing a video game where you're not supposed to think about it too much. Let's continue.
In that multiplayer shooter, when it switched you to the German side, did it go out of its way to tell you that the person you're playing was pressed into service under threat of their life?
But why? Why should the game tell you that? It's a multiplayer shooter. The game doesn't need to provide you context of the character you're playing, of the character that you're playing. Because you're just trying to go out there and just shoot people in a freaking video game. It doesn't need to be. Why does it need to do that? Other than to tell guys, hey, the Nazis are bad, guys. The Nazis are bad.
Yeah, that's a big old nope.
Okay.
Oh, and on a similar note, let's please stop forcing people to play as terrorists as well.
Wow, you are, oh my god, you are Thanos snapping CSGO out of existence, or the entire Counter-Strike series out of existence. Yeah, let's just stop people from playing terrorists in general, because, why? Because my ideology doesn't agree with it.
Well, there you are, playing your modern shooter, and all of a sudden you're a terrorist.
Yes! This is what happens when you play CSGO or any other games that allows you to play as terrorists. What's wrong with you? What?
You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose this. And
I certainly chose to play as terrorists many times in CSGO. A lot of people do. Especially when using the AK, it's OP as hell. At least back in the good old CS 1.6 days. We could have been discussing that instead of this.
and yet, second verse, same as the first. There it is. I mean, that's literally the name of your side in the game.
Yes. 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 What? Yes. I don't understand. What's your problem with it other than, also it's terrorist, therefore it's bad. Oh my god, this video is freaking hilarious.
We can do better than this.
Yes, we can do better than this by, I don't know, just naming the team red versus blue. Because, you know, man, come on, man. I'm pretty sure people play terrorists in freaking video games and they don't immediately turn into freaking ISIS. Or what?
Even if you put aside all of the people who have had traumatic experiences with these groups.
No. Don't you dare. Don't you freaking dare speak for them. Don't. I mean, for God's sake, I've had friends, okay? I've had friends who are victims of the freaking terrorist attack on the church in Surabaya, and they cope by playing Counter-Strike. Should we appeal to the freaking whims of every single traumatic person, every single people who suffers from trauma? Should we change fiction so that people don't suffer from traumatic I don't even, oh god.
Who have lost loved ones to terrorists, or who have had generations of their families wiped out by Nazis. No one should have to put on the costume of an ideology they find abhorrent.
Well, no. No. In real life, no. It's a video game. I don't even know. Oh my god. Dude. Bring Daniel back. I miss his squeaky little voice.
Without actually opting into it in your game. And by making people do so, we get them to stop thinking about it.
Yes. You're not supposed to think about that. Yeah, you're not supposed to think about that. Because I think people, when they play as terrorists, their mindset by default is that, well, the terrorists are bad and they have to stop the counter-terrorists. If you're playing Counter-Strike, that is. And they're putting that in the context of the video game that they're playing. It's a freaking deathmatch or bombs or hostage situations or whatever kind of modes you play in Counter-Strike. I mean, come on, dude. Come on.
To stop thinking of the meaning behind these things, we normalize them.
No. No, we don't. What do you mean normalize? What do you mean? What do you mean? What kind of normalization are you speaking? Are you saying that, well, if we play as terrorists in Counter-Strike, or we play as the freaking Axis power in, say, Battlefield, or the older Battlefields at least, we immediately say that being a terrorist or being a Nazi is okay? There are many reasons out there. Look, I've seen people who are Nazis who actually believe Nazi beliefs on the internet, but I'm pretty sure that they don't come to that conclusion by playing freaking Battlefield 1942 or something.
We make them just window dressing for entertainment.
Yes. 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 What?
Those uniforms, those symbols, become things that no longer inherently revolt us.
Yes. It's a long time in the past. I mean, come on, dude.
They reduce our visceral reaction to seeing the embodiment of these ideologies.
Yes. 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 Because you're playing a video game. You're not supposed to put any of these in the context of the real world. You can't separate fiction from reality. That's your biggest freaking issue here.
Now, does this make us totally ignore the history that comes with them?
No! No! What are you talking about?
No. But for some people, it moves them from the territory of revolting to just edgy.
Oh. Is that it? So, it makes people to roleplay as freaking Nazis or terrorists, or LARPing as Nazis or terrorists in the internet, or being edgy on the internet in general is okay. I think the entire point of this video is that you just don't like edgy jokes. Is that what you're trying to say?
It makes scrawling a swastika on something change from unthinkable to just dangerous.
Wait. Are you... Let me get this straight. So, I play Battlefield, and then the moment I do that, I immediately think, wow, drawing swastika in people is just nice. Or drawing... It just...
It means you might not take iron crosses all over a website as a warning sign that you should immediately leave. And if you don't leave, you might start reading and buying into hateful ideas there.
I am pretty sure people are not this stupid. You have some very low faith in people that they look at a website that has freaking Iron Cross or a swastika or whatever, and they just immediately think that, wow, this is okay. It's perfectly fine to read it. You're assuming that people are blank slates that just accept everything. They're sponges that just accept everything that they read on the freaking internet.
It's things like this that erode our safeguards against dangers we sacrifice so much to fight. By the time you've played 100 hours of being a Nazi, their voice stabs become memes and in-jokes with your friends.
Yes? You don't like that?
By the 1,000th time you've respawned as a terrorist, you're either celebrating them or making fun of them.
Yes. You don't like that? Is that your issue?
Neither of which helps the global crisis we have that...
Yes. What the? Do you expect people to play video games to freaking help the? We're gonna save the world, guys. I just want to chill in my freaking home and play some freaking video games. But no, apparently I have to save the world, and that means I have to censor my video games in order to appeal to your freaking ideology because you don't like what people say on the internet. My God.
It takes thousands of lives every year. So what do? That's easy. Don't make them morally equivalent.
Don't make them morally equivalent. I'm pretty sure they're not. I mean, if you play as a freaking terrorist in Counter-Strike, you literally put people in hostage and you carry bombs and you put them in certain bomb locations, and the counter-terrorist is supposed to save the hostage and defuse the bombs. I think most people who play terrorists in Counter-Strike, they know that putting a bomb in a remote area, in a freaking certain area, is wrong. And putting people as hostage is also wrong. I mean, it makes me doubt if you actually played these games.
Don't make there be no in-game moral difference between your Nazis and your allies.
Are you talking about... I think you're specifically talking about Battlefield, because, you know, Counter-Strike is very obvious in its moral differences. Well, in the case of Battlefield, how are you going to provide context for the game? I mean, the game is usually like, I forgot what the game mode is called. It's, I do remember in Arnoldtorium it's called Onslaught, where it's a huge freaking map. You take certain points in the map, you defend that certain point, or you attack a certain point in the map, and you just try to dominate all the points so that you can win the match, and anything like that. I forgot what it's called. It's been a while since I played Battlefield, but how are you going to provide a context if it's good or bad in that? I'm pretty sure people who play, or at least have any sort of knowledge in World War II, know that the Axis powers are generally bad. I don't understand.
Between your terrorists and your counter-terrorist squads. Frame PvP as a training exercise, or simply take one of your non-odious sides and recolor them so that it's red versus blue.
Of course. Of course you're gonna do this, right? I mean, I don't mind red versus blue, but come on. Not every game should have red versus blue. It doesn't freaking matter. Serious.
Rather than Axis versus Allies.
Also, you are talking about the Axis versus Allies.
A good example of a game that does this is Rainbow Six Siege. All of your bomb diffusion and hostage rescue multiplayer with no normalizing terrorists.
But they're still bombing and they're still putting hostages. Okay.
In fact, by having all of the characters as counter-terrorists training for a possible threat, it highlights how real and present of a threat that is.
Okay, so the game is not a PvP between terrorists and counter-terrorists. It's a PvE where you cooperate with people and try to save the terrorists who are the enemies. Does it matter? Why does...
And if you decide that you need to have both sides be playable, don't make them interchangeable.
Okay.
Don't have players randomly spawn in as one or the other.
But you can't choose. But you're gonna end, if that's the case, if you're going to choose between the ally power and the Axis power based simply on morality, I'm pretty sure most people will side with the allies. And since most people are gonna side with the allies, you're gonna have an unbalanced freaking multiplayer map. They're gonna have the multiplayer map to have like 64 freaking allied units and like one guy who's like, yeah, I'm gonna freaking destroy the Jews.
Allow players to choose which side they're on.
But you're gonna create a situation where it's an unbalanced freaking multiplayer map.
Now, of course, this has all sorts of in-game problems, such as creating shorter wait times for fascists. But you know what?
No, that's not the balance issue. The issue is the balance. The balance, man. You can't... If you're going to, if the whole world plays the game, if the entire freaking world plays the game, and I think pretty sure if they're choosing based on morality, I'm pretty sure people are going to choose the allied forces.
And if you're going to say, but we need it for historical reasons, then your game better actually be historical.
I think most games have already been historical. People don't really... It seems to me that your goal is to make people, to shove this message. The Nazis are bad, guys. Just shove this message to everybody, even though most people get out of high school or even middle school where they teach about this stuff.
You can't really just hide behind the fact you called your desert map El Alamein and say, but it's historical. If that were the case, you need your PvP to at least represent real historical events and be a realistic take on those battles.
But it's not, but it's gonna be the same. But if you're just gonna base in one specific, if you're going to base a map in one specific scenario, you don't just take the map, you have to base it on the real event of that scenario, then the scenario is going to be the same. Why can't we just take the map and put whatever scenarios that we want in it? Oh, of course, because its morality is the important thing here and not fun.
Once you make both sides balanced, it's also no longer historical.
That's wrong for me, fam.
And you can't really say that you need Nazis anymore for historical accuracy.
You can't say that you need Nazis anymore for historical accuracy. I'm pretty sure that people are gonna disagree with that, especially the progressives who are saying something along the lines of, we can't just whitewash the history of the Nazis and pretend that they don't exist because we find them uncomfortable. But then when we put them in the game and then you have people like you come in.
And once your map is something carefully designed to have good gameplay by a team in a room in San Francisco or LA, and it's not a faithful reconstruction of the actual places the historical events occurred in, you can no longer say we need to have players take up arms in service of terror or hate.
One element is not historically accurate, therefore all elements shouldn't be historically accurate. Is that what you're trying to say? Because that can't happen. Games can take the middle ground. They can be at least historically authentic without the need of being 100% historically accurate. Games don't need to be 100% historically accurate. There are certain game mechanics out there. There are many game mechanics out there that prevents you to do that.
And look, we're not saying we can't have games about World War II or about terrorism.
We're not saying that, but just remove the Nazis because we're offended by it.
We're not even saying we shouldn't make games where you play as a Nazi or a terrorist.
The entire freaking argument is you saying that you shouldn't. I mean, that's literally the argument of your intro. I mean, for God's sake, you point into the word terrorist and say, you're playing as this! That's bad, guys!
But what we are saying is that the fact that you're playing as a Nazi or a terrorist in a game has to mean something.
you are basically saying, if it has to mean something, okay, if I play as a terrorist or a Nazi and it has to mean something, then it means that I, as a Nazi, need to be able to exterminate the Jews. Because it needs to mean something. Is that what you're saying? Or if I play as a terrorist, I need to be able to put bombs and freaking put hostages because it means something. Because that's what it means to be a terrorist. I think you're kind of mixing your message here. What?
And it can't just be a skin. It can't be something that a game randomly drops you into.
I think most games don't just do that. I think most games kind of they don't even have to like provide the context that Nazis are bad because most people pass freaking elementary school. What?
And really, if we are saying anything in this episode, it's this. Games can do better.
No. They have been better.
And in this particular case, it's not even that hard to do better. And it's no more costly to do better. All it requires is that we in the game industry be cognizant of the world around us.
No. Who cares about what happens around the world? Thank you, Mom. Thank you, freaking Dad, for telling me that I should go outside and just, hey, there's the outside world out there. You should care about it instead of you're playing your stupid video games. My God, this video is dumb.
And what these symbols we're drawing on mean. That we think as we're building, not just about the game we're working on, but about the world as a whole. If we can do that, we can take a big step forward for the industry. We can stop helping to normalize Nazis.
No! It's written by James! I'm not surprised, but still. Daniel, where are you? I miss your squeaky little voice. I think the video got tons of dislikes because, well, it's not Daniel. That's one. You didn't ask to choose for this. Dude, you bought a multiplayer World War II game. What the f***? Did you think you'd be fighting aliens? You know who really didn't ask for this? Adam Jensen. War is bad, therefore there shouldn't be war games because war games normalize war. Ah yes, those horrible CSGO terrorists and their evil plans to blow up a bunch of boxes in the middle of nowhere. Daily reminder that you actually play as a terrorist group in Final Fantasy VII. You didn't choose to be a Nazi or terrorist, but they bought the game knowing full well that they could be. How many actual gamers complain about this? What is the data on people becoming Nazis and terrorists because games? Can't you see the absurdity of making goods and bads in games with the sole purpose to simulate killing another human being? I don't know about 2 extra credits, but I can tell reality apart from video games. How is this any different from the morality police who used to say playing shooters will turn you to a shooter? One day you play World War II shooter, then BAM! You're a capitalist! You didn't ask for this. You didn't want this. 1990, video games cause violence. 2020, video games cause Nazism. Please learn from this video to better advance your content. I think it's important to confront this kind of ideas to question and understand why they're wrong. Don't ban lighters. Teach people to be responsible with fire. Don't destroy every spindle in the kingdom. Teach the princess why it's dangerous. Oh my God, the comments are just straight up roasting this. I freaking love it. I love it so much. You guys, oh my God, the comments restore my faith in humanity. This video is absolutely horrible. This is a horrible freaking video. Extra credits, you should be ashamed. You should be ashamed for having this video. This video is absolutely garbage. This is such a garbage take. Wow. But honestly, I'm not surprised. I've been criticizing extra credits ever since like 2016, 2017, and they haven't been good since. And now that Daniel is out, or at least as far as I know it's out, I don't know. It's big oof for me. I'm done. Next video.